We don't back down, this is what we're made of. Standing our ground, here it goes down. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Oh, wait and see, we're gonna be legendary. Ain't no time like the here and now. Yeah, we showed up, now we're showing up. Legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary. Raise up a white flag. Didn't come this far just to turn back. The curtains fall for the last act. Breaking that levee, breaking that levee. We don't back down. This is what we're made of. Standing our ground, here it goes down. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Oh, wait and see, we're gonna be legendary. Ain't no time like the here and now. Yeah, we showed up, now we're showing up. Legendary. Legendary. We're gonna be legendary. We don't back down, this is what we're made of. Standing our ground, here it goes down. We're gonna be legendary. Oh, wait and see. We're gonna be legendary. Ain't no time like the here and now. Yeah, we showed up, now we're showing up. Oh, you and me, we're gonna be legendary. Legendary. Legendary.
I got metal running through my bones, a resurrection like a ghost. Hurricane, go ahead and blow. Where you could keep your white flag, I'll never fold. A shadow on the battlefield, a survivor never yield. A thunder, go ahead and shade. Don't run from the storm when I feel the rain. There's no rest for the wicked, no victory for the weak. And when the weeds getting thicker, you'll never see me on my knees. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. I got a fever in my blood, a falling embers from above. I feel the heat when the pressure blows, a wildfire that you can't control. There's no rest for the wicked, no victory for the weak. And when the weeds getting thicker, you'll never see me on my knees. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. With every beat of my heart, I'll be the light in the dark. explosive.
10 years of speed. 10 years of stories. For the past 10 years, we've been more than just spectators. We've been the heartbeat of local racing, growing alongside the tracks, drivers, and fans who make it all possible. From the dusty turns to the checkered flags, we've shared every triumph and every challenge, making memories that last a lifetime. As we mark this milestone, we're not just looking back, we're revving up for the future. We are expanding, bringing you even more racing, more coverage, and more ways to connect with the adrenaline-fueled world we love. Our commitment to the local racing community is unwavering, and the next chapter promises to be our most exciting yet.
Drag race to the line.
Oh, it's going to be a good one tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Talladega and the final race in the On the Throttle Podcast Bracket Challenge. 4 drivers will battle for that. In addition to that, the final race of the regular season, the playoffs on the horizon next week, Thursday night. And you got to love Talladega, right? You got to love Talladega. You got to love the super speedway feel, the 3 and 4 wide. The side draft, the air draft, the front draft, the bump draft. And we've got it for you here tonight. I'm Wesley Outland. Charles Wooten is alongside. Charles, it feels like we just did this exactly about this time last night. Oh, wait, we did.
Yes, we very much did this. We would have been about halfway through the race by now last night. But, yeah, we did it. And it's not, well, I guess it is deja vu because we are doing it all over again.
And we welcome you again to Talladega. Should be a fun one here tonight. And let's take a look at, again, the bracket for the drivers that are battling for the finish. It is Zach Kreitz, Andrew Hess, Kyle McCoy, and Brian Lynch. Those are your 4 drivers throughout the course of the last 5 weeks in the bracket challenge. I've actually enjoyed this bracket challenge, Charles. It's been fun to keep up with.
Yeah, it's been very fun to keep up with. Apparently, we lost part of the track there, but it's been very fun to keep up with. I am a little confused. I didn't get to dive deep into the bracket, but we have 4 drivers. That's going to whittle to 2, but it's the end of the bracket, so I don't know what happens to those 2 drivers.
So if you want to show the bracket again, real quickly, before we qualify, you see that bracket right there? That became 1 driver of those 4. So those 4 drivers went at it in the other brackets on the bottom. That was the Ricky Bobby and the Brewster Baker bracket. Last week, 1 driver advanced. And then we had 4 drivers in the race last week in the Days of Thunder Cole Trickle Rowdy Burns bracket, and that's Kyle McCoy and Brian Lynch. So that's kind of how we have reached the final four.
Yeah, so
You caught up now?
Yeah, but if this is the final race of the bracket and there's 4 drivers, that whittles it down to 2. What happens to those last 2 drivers?
No. It's kind of like the championship 4, like you would see for a Cup Series championship.
Okay.
These 4 drivers will battle. The best finisher of those 4 is the overall bracket challenge champion.
Oh, okay. Guess what's
Caught up now?
Yeah,
There you
we
go.
got this. My brain was not processing that. I've been at work too long today.
Well, we're underway with qualifying now. By the way, in case you did not know, NASCAR is at Talladega Super Speedway this upcoming weekend. Should be a good one, no doubt. Although it does look like they're going to get hit by weather, Charles. It looks like weather's going to interfere with it for... They're talking about maybe racing on a Monday. Possibility.
Well, you know, that would allow me to watch it at home if I watched it. But, I know we've got weather here in Texas as well. We've already had RPM Speedway rain out, and I have a feeling a few more will on Saturday. So hopefully, for the most part, everything stays, green and not wet and sunny. But Saturday is not looking to be a very good day in the state of Texas.
And all that weather, I think, is going to head its way into real Talladega, Alabama. Christian Lawson on the track, ready to qualify. There you see the number 3. The big one. Not a matter of if, but when. We saw it at the end of the race last night for of course... Yeah, Charles says it didn't count. For the Full Throttle Sim Racing Series. We'll see what happens here tonight for the guys of the Stars and Stripes Racing League. The smart thing to do, honestly, Charles, would be what we said last night. Get in line, drive, knock off laps, get here to the end of the race, and then make a run for the finish, for sure. That's the smart thing to do.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I stand by my statement. Didn't count. The big one that you claim happened after the checker flag had waved. Therefore, it didn't count. It was not the big one. We did not have the big one. So,
yeah.
So,
by the way, this is the Butt Kicker 200 as well. We welcome you to the Butt Kicker 200.
Yes, and if you don't have a butt kicker, well, you should probably get one.
You need to get one.
If you don't sim race, I guess you don't need one. But yeah, they make the immersion feel real. We used to have their commercial that we'd play, but that has long since disappeared in the studio. But yeah, they are a really nice addition to any sim racer. So good to see them coming to sponsor the series in this race. Looks like Andrew Hess gonna run a time, and we'll see. He's coming up to the line again, way down here. It's going to be a 54.285, and that'll put him in 10th place.
So we welcome you again to the Butt Kicker 200 of Andrew Hess qualifying, the Hess Toy Trucks entry. Here comes Ryan Lynch on the racetrack in the Ford Cookout number 31. By the way, we will go 200 miles, 75 laps. Shades of what we ran last night, as a matter of fact, on the racetrack. And of course, this racetrack at Talladega is a tri-oval, 2.66 miles, 4.281 kilometers. Turns number 1 and 2 banked at 33 degrees. Turn 3 and 4 at 32.4, 32.5 in turn 4. And then, of course, there is 16.5 on the tri-oval front straightaway here at Talladega. Also, the start-finish line all the way at the end of pit road. And the Alabama game super stretch, the back straightaway is right there where you see Lynch on right now, and that measures at, of course, 3 degrees, 4,000 foot, 4,300 foot front stretch, 4,000 foot back stretch here at Talladega. There you go. You're caught up with dimensions, right?
Yes. Now, I could probably build this track if I wanted to.
You probably could.
I mean, I have no plans of doing it, but I could.
So we're done. And the field is gritting here at Talladega Superspeedway. Ready to go. By the way, we'll take a look at the weather in just a moment, but here's your starting lineup. Oh, and by the way, the final race of the regular season as well. Here tonight, Chris Smith on the pole. Andrew Medlin alongside on row 1. Row 2, we'll find Kyle McCoy. He's one of those drivers that have got a shot at the Bracket Challenge Championship. And Dylan Grimm alongside at 23. Row 3, we'll find Scott Rickard, the points leader. And Nate Lynch, my twin, on the outside, as Charles says. Row 4, Ellis Thomas in the 80. And Thomas Ogle, winner last week of the 11. Row 5, top 10, Charles, Kyle Bowling, and Brian Chu in the 18. I know him from Nazareth.
Yeah, row 6 gonna be the 46 of Zach Kreitz, who will have some fans out in the chat tonight. In the 13 of Mark Fish. In row number 7 is gonna be Andrew Hess. In the 54 and the 28 of Josh Whitaker. In row number 8 is gonna be the 53 of Christopher Wade. And the 16 of Dylan Glass. Let's see how they do here tonight. Row 9 going to be the 5 of Trey Jackson. In the 55, the 88. I can't tell numbers apart. The 88 of Timothy McNally. And rounding out your top 20 in 19th to 20th, it's going to be the 51 of Tom Wizza. And Christian Lawson in the 3.
Row 11, we'll find Greg Hammond and William Duff. Row 12 tonight, Brian Lynch and Ross Tatum. Good to see the Virginian back with us again. Row 13, Jason Gratton as well as Joshua Robinson. Row 14, Will Bustler, Brian Lynch. Boy, we got a field of them tonight at Talladega, don't we? Row 15, top 30, Brian Burchett. And from Burchett, it'll be Mark Schrader alongside. Row 15, row 16, by himself, 31 drivers, Zachary Smith in the number 91. By the way, Chris Smith is our Verizon 5G Fast Pole Award winner here for the Butt Kicker 200. And as while they get ready to make a lap around the 2.66 mile Talladega, the Stars and Stripes Racing League for iRacing on LSRTV has been brought to you by.
Eventually.
Thank you to all of these sponsors, including Butt Kicker, proud sponsor of tonight's entitlement event for the Butt Kicker 200 at Talladega. Thank you also to Next Level Racing on the Throttle podcast, available on all major platforms and outlets. And Verizon, the nation's #1 5G network for cellular service worldwide. So the field getting a couple of preliminary laps before we get ready to turn them loose here. By the way, on behalf of Rocket Media, iRacing, LSRTV, Charles Wooten, I'm Wesley Outland. Strap in. Should be a good one. One more time, Charles. Let's take a look at the bracket for the challenge. Let's show it to them before we come to green. There you see your drivers, Kyle McCoy, Brian Lynch, Andrew Hess, and Zach Kreitz. And Charles, as we're coming to green, it's very simple. Whoever is the highest finisher of those 4 drivers is going to be the Bracket Challenge champion.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing who it is, and it's a toasty day to do it.
78 degrees, sim time, track temp already at 101. Partly cloudy, but the sun is poking through right now. And it is go time. This is Talladega. 200 miles, 75 laps. Strap in as we are coming to green as we work up through the tri-oval. Smith and Medlin right there. The regular season championship on the line. The Bracket Challenge championship on the line. And the final stretch to make the playoffs. We're green at Talladega.
And interesting enough, it looks like we got a couple of takers that didn't start. Brian Chu going to be starting from the pits, and Joshua Robinson, he is also electing to start from the pits, but we won't focus there too much. But 2 drivers opting to start from the pits. Safe call, bad call, smart call, dumb call. I don't know. I think it could be any of those. It just really depends on how this race starts out and how it goes.
Medlin, Smith outside. Here comes now the 12. That's Medlin up on the outside lane. Special Olympics on the colors for that car. It's also Smith on the bottom in the Apex Energy Machine. And shades of what happened last night. And honestly, Charles, This is the best thing. Only difference in this series, they don't have stage racing like we had last night, where those cautions, make-do cautions will pop into the race. You got to go, you got to get in line, but obviously this is the time to ride and drive right now.
Yeah, and that's one thing I'm going to be curious about throughout this race. You know, we had those 2 cautions, lap 15 and lap 30. That gave these guys a chance to kind of calm down, get refocused, and then go, and have a reset. Without those 2 little resets, are we going to see this get a little more chaotic and crazy, and have more cautions? Cautions, when they're a stage caution, gives you a chance to relax. When it's a wreck and you get involved, or it's wreck after wreck and you're getting frustrated with the drivers around you, you're not getting to relax at all. So we'll see if those non-stage cautions in this one play any different in the whole overall attitude of the drivers in the race.
All right, now for the time being, everybody minding their P's and Q's with a couple of laps already in the books, with Smith on the inside, Medlin on the outside, McCoy and Grimm right there door to door. Rickard, Lynch, and let's be honest, they're all 2x2x2, all 30-plus cars down the back straightaway for the Stars and Stripes Racing League, down that 4,000-foot back stretch, climbing the bank and into turn 3.
And it's definitely a banking for sure. You talked about it a little while ago, so we might as well go there, Wesley. We're going to go to your favorite cam.
The gyro cam, the suicide cam, on board with Medlin. Right up under the leader, and honestly, this camera really does no justice, Charles, to show you how fast these guys are going around the racetrack. We got any suicide cams? We got any static cameras we can show? Look at this, though. The gyro shows how banked it is, though, going in the corner.
Yeah, we went out to install the cams, the deer cams and all that, and unfortunately, after last night, some people went out there this morning and they were doing some warm-up laps, some hot laps, and they accidentally knocked up all their cameras and broke them all, so we don't got no digger cams today.
Okay.
That's the long way of saying we broke the cameras.
No static cameras or anything. Yeah. That view I like that view. Always shows how fast they're coming around the corner here. So from up top, high above. That's a good camera.
And we're already seeing 3 wide with this group, but we didn't see this early.
I don't know about this. I don't know about going 3 wide this early in the race, guys. If I was your spotter right now, Charles, I'd be like, God, back off, back off.
Well, we're just going to have to wait and see. I think they're giving each other a lot of room considering they're going 3 wide, so we'll keep an eye on it and see how it all plays out. We do have a lap car that'll be coming in to the picture here soon. I believe that, yes, that is going to be Brian Burchett in the 33 machine, and you also got the 30 coming up as well.
Yeah, Robinson there with a problem. Joshua Robinson as well as Burchett. And Burchett's got the throwback of Harry Gann, if you remember the skull colors of the number 33. By the way, speaking of throwback, Charles, and I'm looking forward to this one, round number 2 of the playoffs, the old school 200 throwback night at North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, it's always cool when these leagues have throwback races. It's even cooler when the drivers, the majority of them participate. Some of these guys obviously can't. They have real-life sponsors that they want to promote. But it's still cool to get your new sponsors on that old paint job. One of my favorite throwbacks was, when they brought back the old blue and yellow Wrangler car. I always thought it was cool. But, yeah, throwback races are just fun to watch.
Always fun to see what they got going up their sleeve as we watch these guys work their way back around the racetrack one more time. Now Grimm in the lead. By the way, next week playoffs, round 1 for the Stars and Stripes Racing League will be at Homestead Miami Speedway, the 1.5 miles. It'll be the South Beach 200, and then of course the old school 200, as we mentioned, the next couple of races after tonight here at Talladega. Meanwhile, Medlin back to the lead. Grimm had a shot at it. He fell back on the outside lane. He's free falling. Now he's going to get back in line behind Smith, and they're going to go back down with the front row door to door. Here comes McCoy, by the way.
And that outside lane's not picking up the steam it wants. You got Will Butler and Ross Tatum, teammates, leading row number 3, or the outside row. I'm not sure. I believe that's the 25 that is behind them.
Lynch,
Yeah, Nate Lynch. He's trying to help them out as well, but just not enough cars, I don't think, for them to really get the head of steam they want to try and make something happen up there on the top side. Not yet, anyway. Maybe later on in this race it will.
Kyle McCoy right now in the number 4 spot. He is the man that is at the top of the bracket challenge leader. If this race was to end, he would be the bracket challenge champion. We'll kind of watch those drivers on the racetrack tonight, as right now a little shuffling going on as it looks like Smith falling back. Midland stays locked to the inside, and what do you know, McCoy now going from 5th to 2nd. He wants the lead at Talladega as they come to the line on lap 7.
Yeah, I would definitely want to lead some laps, and if you're one of those 4 drivers, you really want to be the highest ranking driver when it's all said and done. You want the win, but the win isn't necessarily a thing you have to have. But a win will definitely guarantee the highest position on track, so that's where everybody's mindset is, I'm sure. Anyway, plus if you're, in those 4, here's the question I have for you though, Wesley. If you're one of these final 4 in the bracket, are you going to run a little differently, maybe a little less aggressive to try to be safe on the track to avoid big wrecks? Or are you going to go all out for the win and, just know it's just the little bracket challenge, it's not the actual championship?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I know that you got the race within a race, the championship within a race of the championship, but I will say this, though. If you're one of these guys that are on the outside looking in, you're going to see some desperation here. You're going to see some guys that know that they need to make some last-minute moves or move some spots in the scoring standings to move into the playoffs. I think we have to watch that amongst as well, watching this battle for the bracket challenge. Now, if it's an open book shut case and McCoy gets up in front, wins the race, wins the bracket challenge title, he's already in the playoffs, then whoop-de-doo. Great job, great props to the 7. But if there's any storylines throughout the night that I think we're going to be watching, it is going to be some guys that might be on the outside looking in, and they're going to do all they can, bracket challenge champion or not, to fight Claw to try to put themselves in a playoff spot.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And yeah, it's one of those things, we said it last night, when you come to a plate track like this, the only thing you really have is time. You've got to just kind of pace yourself and let this race work itself out. You don't want to be aggressive, you want to be aggressive, I should say. You don't want to be too aggressive, too early. You want to, ride it out. They're doing that while they're going 3 wide still. Pretty much the entire field's 3 wide. So, could we see another race, Wesley, where we have 3 wide the whole race and don't see the big one?
We could. Don't jinx it. Right now we're 10 laps in of 75. As right now everybody just kind of holds their line. And again, Charles, here's the only thing that I find different from last night's race. If you tuned in to the, if you will, full throttle sim, the full throttle cup, trucks. These drivers don't have stages, so we might see green flag pit stops, which means it might bunch up the field, and then it's going to separate everybody around the track as well. So that means there'll be more packs, there'll be separation. The difference from last night is like you said, we're closing in on lap 15. Well, hell, last night, that's the end of stage 1. So people were trying to get in line for stage points, and they knew they were coming to the caution flag to reset and go again. You don't get no reset in this deal unless we get an organic caution to come out. It's going to be interesting to see how things shuffle up here for sure.
And I'm curious, we saw how many laps they could go yesterday. They do have 100% fuel load. So 35 laps. Do you come in?
I think 35 or 40.
Yeah, if you can go around 40 laps, we could see them come in around lap 35 to 37 and that would put this a one-stop race right down the middle. You know, if it was me, I would come in maybe around lap 38, 39, around right at the edge of it, because they do have a chance at overtime, but only one, so you don't really have to worry about extra fuel there too much. So yeah, I say come in around 38, 39, and you should be good for the rest of this race.
Three by three, 4 rows up the banking, up that 4-degree, almost 3 stories of banking. Now down that 4,000-foot Alabama Gang super stretch. And somehow keeping it together. Well, I just don't know about this. Not right now, guys. All the while, McCoy up in front. Strong drive on the inside of the racetrack of the number 7. Medlin, Whitaker up there now also. He tried to get something started up on the safer barrier on the outside. Shut the door on him. Here comes McCoy down to the middle lane. Open up the door to Medlin. Whitaker battles back, and we're 3 wide again in the middle.
Yeah, this is going to get real interesting if they continue 3 wide for the remainder of this race. And, well, they don't show any signs of doing anything else. You know, we haven't done this in a while, but we might as well, Wesley. Who's your pick to win? I know you got your front runners, but it's in Talladega, so that really doesn't mean a hill of beans at Talladega. So who's your pick to win this race?
Oh, man. Well, McCoy looks really strong, but yeah, well, you know what? I'm going to say Scott Rickard. He's just always been patient, hanging in the back, being able to make the move at the last minute. I would say I'm going to go with the 0-5. I really am. Scott Rickard. And right now you see him, and I'm saying it, and he's coming to the front. Look at that.
You know, I'm gonna go with Nate Lynch. He's in 9th right now. He's willing to go to the top side and try to make it work up there and move around. So he's got that Daytona, Talladega spirit where he'll go where he needs to go. So I'm going with the 25 of Nate Lynch for 2 reasons. The one I just stated, and 2, obviously the 25th is my birthday, and I like that number. So that's who I'm going with.
And obviously, Charles, it's not a matter of if, but when could we see the big wreck? The big one. We didn't see it until they were coming to the checkered flag last night for the Full Throttle Series. Stars and Stripes Racing League, totally different breed of drivers, totally different personalities, totally different vehicles as well, Charles. Let's emphasize on that. Last night they were in the truck. Tonight they're in the Xfinity cars. They drive different. They ride different. The setup, the handling, all of that's got to be taken into comparison preparing for the race as well.
Yeah, it is totally different animals. These cars obviously a little bit faster, which obviously could get us done quicker too if we stay the way we're going right now. But, you know, it's going to be real interesting. I think the most interesting part of this race is going to be if we stay green and we go into pit stops, how are you going to go from 3-4 wide almost to a single file for pit stops? That's where you could see, a potential for a caution, and things can get really airy as they are literally side by side by side for the race lead right now.
And back 3 by 3, 5 rows deep now. All in the front. This isn't in the back. It's up in the front now. Getting unorganized. McCoy down to the inside. Look at Smith now. Monkey in the middle. He now stays in line. Maybe some help on the outside. Greg Whitaker trying to get that third lane. Charles, I keep watching this now as we're closing in on 20 laps into this race, and it just seems like the outside lane, the top row up to the safer barrier, they can't get formed. They just can't seem to get any speed up there, or nobody wants to go up there and run with them. They get hesitant. They get in line, they back away.
Yeah, it's weird. They just don't want to commit to it, and they were going to smack around. I don't think that's going to bring out a caution, though.
54, Hess and others wrecking bottom of the racetrack. And as you said, it's at the bottom of the racing surface, not in harm's way. 54-13 really scrambled up and tore up. We still stay green.
That is one thing about this track. It is a self-cleaning facility. What goes up must come down, and it went up, came down, and it cleaned itself off the racing surface. And we definitely shook things up in this race, but no caution, so we stay green. It is. It's
that
just one of those.
That was Andrew Hess in 54, Brian Chu in the 18, and Mark Fish in the 13. And we still stay under the green flag, by the way.
And I really feel bad for Brian Chu, as he was involved in that. He tried to start in the pits, and not being that is we're going to knock one more out of the way, and that one is going to bring out a caution probably. Yes.
That's going to send somebody up into the air on top of the safer barrier. The 80 machine, that's Thomas Lynch spinning in the grass, and others scratching in the grass, and the caution will come out for the first time with 55 to go on lap number 20. Here's a look at it. Here's your replay.
A little smoke on the track, so somebody was already smoking. You'll see it was just a very, very, very slight tap. You see him kind of bait right there. He just kind of tags him and just kind of sets it all in motion.
Oh, there's Lynch, our buddy Lynch in the Budweiser 25, nowhere to go. By the way, we have to be more specific because there's a lot of Lynches in this series.
Yes,
that was Nate Lynch. Nate Lynch, the Cyhawk Motorsports entry to put us under the caution here. Here's another look at it.
We'll see if we can't get a better aerial shot. And you'll see the 80. He's trying to find a spot, and that's just not doing it, so we're going to go to a different angle. He's trying to find where he wants to go, and you'll see him come down here in a minute and just puts him out of line, and puts him out of shape, and it just sends a reaction throughout the entire field, and about 6 cars total get involved in that one.
Yes, there you go. And you would be crazy not to come down to pit road right now, Charles, would you? I mean, would you think that? I would think everybody's going to come down to pit road, and survey says yes.
And unfortunately, this will not be, and they still have 55 laps to go, so this will not be the money stop. However, it is a chance to get fuel and tires if you want them. They only have 4 sets of tires as it is, so there's a chance to take one, and it looks like most people are going to take at least 2, possibly 4 tires. At least the 05 and the 23 are, so we'll see. Looks like the 7 taking 4 tires as well. So 4 tires of fuel looks like is the call it's going to be, Wesley.
4 tires and fuel. A lot of these guys making it. All right, look. So let's take a look now at the On the Throttle podcast bracket challenge finale here at Talladega, and the drivers are Kyle McCoy, Brian Lynch, Zach Kreitz, and Andrew Hess. And right now on the racetrack, Kyle McCoy is in 3rd spot. Brian Lynch is on the racetrack in 9th. Zach Kreitz is in 13th. Andrew Hess, we saw him get tore up earlier with an accident on the back straightaway that did not draw a caution. He is currently right now on the lead lap, Charles, in 21st. And if you got guys like Hess and Thomas and Brian Chu or the 13 that were a part of the accident, Mark Fish, you're praying that obviously you're not badly damaged or you can continue along. Andrew Hess is on the lead lap in 21st. He was in that accident on the back stretch, and he's still on the lead lap. That's good.
Yeah, you do not want to lose the lead lap if you're trying to win this bracket challenge. And definitely, I'm hoping we get to talk to whoever the bracket challenge winner is. Hopefully they're, eventually the race winner or top 3 as well. But
yes.
I definitely would like to talk to them if they got the chance. But we still got 54 laps to determine who that is.
All that's going on right now is now Good to see Bustler back in the top spot. Of course, that driver, Will Bustler for SXS Racing, the Toyota, started strong in the year. Actually, he wasn't present last week, but right now doing really good in the number 1 spot. Rickard second, McCoy, Glass, McNally, your top 5, and we will be back in a moment from Talladega for the restart. This is iRacing on LSRTV, the Stars and Stripes Racing League. Back here at Talladega, the field is getting ready for the restart of the Geico restart zone, and we are back to go back to the restart of the Butt Kicker 200. Caution coming out on its on lap number 20, and now at lap number 23, massive cloud cover over Talladega. We get ready to go back to the restart. Honestly, Charles, I think this is exactly what the doctor ordered, because honestly, we were getting 3x3x3, 4 wide. It started to look a little antsy. Maybe this could be the reset that we chatted about at the end of stage 1 from last night, where just kind of relax, start over again, if you will.
Yeah, a reset's always a good thing to have. A little later than the stage caution from last night's race, but that gives us 52 laps to go. We'll be coming to 50 to go in 2 laps, so not a lot of laps to go, but still a decent amount. They got to be calm for, I'd say, about 45 more laps.
Back straightaway into that third turn. Here comes Rickard. And my pick, as I mentioned, what a season he's had being the points leader on the bottom of the racetrack. But here comes Bustler battling back. And I can't say enough, Charles. Look at Kyle McCoy and that number 7 powering right back to the inside as they work back across the tri-oval, back down that 4,300-foot front stretch into turn 1.
Yeah, a very, very long front stretch and back stretch. If you had to make a spot to try to make a move, Wesley, where would you do it? Right here on the back stretch, or are you going to try to make moves in the turn?
Man, part of me wants to say that the straightaways is where you need to get the speed, maybe entering off the corners on the straightaways to make your passes. That's probably what I would say. Probably, off of exit of 2, down the backstretch, off of 4 to the tri-oval, slingshot, if you will. Everybody stays in line, 2 by 2 here, back to the stripe. Just look at the outside lane, Charles. Look at Rickard's car. It just seems like it's better in form in traffic, dirty air with other cars behind him than the bottom lane for Bustler. Bustler might be the preferred line on the inside, the double yellow line, but that outside lane, middle lane, just seems like it's got a lot more oomph. We saw that last night also in the truck race.
Yeah, we definitely did, and I'm curious, how long we're going to wait until these guys decide to go 3 wide again. It took them, 3-4 laps on the initial start of the race. Will they change that up and go 2 wide longer? Maybe not go 3 wide. here. I don't think the 3 wide really played a factor in that first caution. So I'm curious if they'll try to do it again here in a couple of laps, or if they're going to just be more content to ride here for the next, 30 or 40 laps and just stay double foul till it's time to put the hammer down.
About 1/3 of the way through here, 75 laps the distance, 26 are completed now. Will Bustler, Scott Rickard, Kyle McCoy, Dylan Glass, Andrew Medlin, your top 5. The bottom 5 of the top 10 include Timmy McNally, Brian Lynch, Chris Smith, Zachary Smith, and Tom Ogle. That's the way they stand to the top 10, working lap 26, and they're all the way up the banking again, working into turn 3 on lap 27. Watch this. Bustler, Rickard, and here we go again, Charles. Something getting formed on the outside lane with the 12 of Medlin, but they just can't get the power going up top.
Now, you almost like you need like double, triple the cars up top compared to the bottom. That bottom lane, even the middle one, can really get a run that the outside just cannot maintain. So it's going to be interesting to see if anybody will go up there and try to make it work, because they know it's going to take a lot. I have a feeling they're going to use that bottom 2 just kind of get where they need to go. But then again, somebody could say, you know what, let's group up, let's team up, and let's get to the front on that outside. I yet to, we never saw it last night. I don't think we'll see it again. If anybody's got enough craziness in them to go from the top to the bottom though.
From the bottom of the racetrack all the way to the top of the apron, up against the safer barrier. And right now, they still won't call. Car in the wall! Trouble! McNally's turn! 88! The 80 machine, correction, that's Thomas. Hooks with another car, down to the bottom of the racetrack. He collected the 91, I believe that is Smith. Smith and Thomas wreck up against the outside of the safer barrier. Caution out for the second time. Medlin might have gotten the 91 there, Charles.
Yeah, we're about to find out. I do believe it was the 80 and the 91. The 80 is trying to slide up. And he does. Let's see exactly what happened.
Tom is in the middle, 51. Let's see what happened here.
I believe right there is just a little hook.
Oh, man. I don't think Smith meant to hit the right rear hook of the 91, but of the 80 of Thomas, I meant to say, but yeah, there it is.
Yeah, just ever so, slightly, just fractions of a inch, and he gets that back bumper. Just goes to show you that's plate racing right there. You've got to be 100% clear, and, if you've ever been in the sim, you can get custom spotters. However, a lot of them don't use custom spotters, and that is one downside to, the spotters that come with iRacing. Great service, spotter, however, can't be like a real spotter. If you know the real spotter in real life, they're going to be telling you clear, 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 not clear, not clear. They can update real quickly. They can just say clear, clear, not clear. Well, unfortunately, iRacing spotters don't respond as quickly. They may be telling you clear, 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 and they say it's programmed to say so many times. And if he's in the middle of that and you get to where you're not clear, it will finish that before it tells you not clear. So, stuff like that happens all the time. He may have been told he was clear to go up, and by the time he was actually moving, well, he wasn't clear anymore.
Door bumper not clear.
Yes.
And people are coming on pit road. Scott Rickard and others on pit. Charles, do you find this weird? I mean, obviously they're pitting again.
I don't think so. They got the tires. They got 4 sets. They got fuel to put in there. I think they'll top off on fuel, and I think some of them will probably get tires. I don't. I think they're going to take advantage every chance they get, at least for fuel, and that's what they're doing here. As you see the 05, Rickard just going to take fuel only.
Sure did, man. Stop and go, and fuel only for the 05, and he took advantage of this. And obviously, some drivers did not pit, including Storm Motorsports number 53, Christopher Wade, Nate Lynch in the 25 for the Cyhawk, and they will now be the new people up in front. Obviously, Nick Lynch rim riding the safer barrier earlier, and you have, again, these drivers duking it out here. Kyle McCoy, Brian Lynch, Zach Kreitz, Andrew Hess for the Bracket Challenge Championship presented by On the Throttle Podcast. And right now, it is still Kyle McCoy up in front, Charles. And, man, that number 7 machine, he is just, I know he's right now 5th, but consistency is going well for the number 7 of Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, consistency wins championships, or in this case, wins playoffs. Or playoffs or bracket challenge, whatever you want to call it. He's doing good, and that's exactly what you need to do. You've got to be consistent. You know, I really want to see how consistent the 53 and the 25 are. With not pitting, we know tires aren't a huge deal at plate tracks like this, so it was obviously a strategy call, and I don't think it's going to play any factor into it, because obviously, even though those guys came down, they did not take tires. So technically, they're on the same old tires. So no change there. But could that little splash of fuel play factor? Because they're going to have to pit again. They got 45 laps to go. I do not think they can make it. If they can, it's going to be right on the edge of it. But I do not believe they're going to be able to make it. So we'll see if they can make it. Is that little splash of fuel going to be enough to put them over the edge if we go caution-free the rest of this race?
Yeah, I'm like you. I'm kind of the same way. I'm of the mindset of, okay, if they can go, how far can they go before they have to pit again? Because I'll be honest with you, Charles, and I think we're both in agreement here. These early cautions, 30 laps into it now, I think is throwing everybody off sequence here. But in addition to that, I will say the only referendum of the change is that everybody is still staying. When the leader pits, everyone else pits. And I think that's the biggest thing we're seeing. Monkey see, monkey do. It's not really changing everybody's strategy of being on the racetrack, except for a guy like Wade or Lynch. Obviously, I think that strategy for them is to try to get back in the race here because they were mired back in the event. But for everyone else, when the leader pits, they pit. They're staying right in sequence with one another, and I think that's going to allow the race to have the crazy finish that we all love to see at Talladega.
Yeah, I definitely think so. And my napkin math says they're still not good on fuel. I think they're going to. Yeah, it's not. It's never been really good math, but I'm not thinking they can make it. I think they're going to have to come down and pit again. We've not seen that money stop, so we'll see. But again, my napkin math says no bueno. They ain't going to make it. As the lights go off, we're about to rev these things up one more time.
Ready to try this for the restart again here is now the driver Christopher Wade up in front. Wade is the driver that leads the way. Nate Lynch, Scott Rickard, the points leader. What another good solid run for him right now in that number 05 in third spot. Will Bustler, Kyle McCoy on the run for not only the victory of the race, but the bracket challenge with the playoffs looming. And the green is back out here at Talladega. Homestead next week, North Wilkesboro. Some of the races that are on the way.
It's fairly certain you were going to say Homestead. Homestead, I don't know how I feel about Homestead. It's kind of a fun track, kind of a not fun track. I'm mixed emotions on that track, but we'll leave that for another day as racing is back underway once again. And, Wade and Lynch, they're holding their own out front right now, but again, it doesn't really matter if you got tires or not. They're all on the same tires because nobody took them in the pits. So this is going to get interesting. It's going to come down to potentially a fuel strategy, and I'm really looking forward to see who plays the best strategy here at Talladega.
Christopher Wade back to that top spot. Rickard now right there in the bottom. 33 laps closing in, believe it or not. About another handful, Charles, to halfway of this race. Let's get to the second half. Let's get 100 miles under our belt, and then let's see the chaos and mayhem ensue.
And it
That's what I
will
think.
ensue. Well, I say it will. It did not last night. And, you know, these two leagues, they're borderline roughly the same when it comes to cautions. Neither one of them typically have a whole lot of cautions. So I'm really looking forward to see how it all does play out, as we're already, you know, attempting to go that 3 wide. As they said, Nate Lynch, we ain't working with you right now. See you later. They hung him out to dry on the top side.
He sure did. Let's watch this now with Wade as the new leader. Christopher Wade inside battles. I'm going to tell you, between him and Lynch just got slung like a rag doll to the back in the top 12. But boy, Wade's connected. He's committed to the bottom. He ain't going nowhere. They're going to have to move him from that spot. Rickard or McCoy are going to have to. And he's locked there. He ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, he is not moving. He says, nope, inside bottom is mine, and you will have to pry it from my arms if you want to take me from it. And, well, we'll see. They're going to try to mount a charge on the outside lane, or middle lane. I guess it's outside now. Could be middle if they go 3 wide again, but nobody's able to take it from him. You're right. They are going to have to physically take it from him. And the only way they're really going to do that right now is to push somebody, you know, in front of them. And that's always the downside when you get a really good run on that outside lane, is you're going to push the 05. He's going to drop down, and it's going to kill the momentum on the outside lane. So, yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow when knowing you're basically pushing a guy who's just going to get in front of him and then take the lead and leave you out to dry.
Wade inside racetrack. McCoy down to the bottom. Here comes Rickard to follow. And no one home. Somehow holds it together back into turn number 1 and 2. Closing in a couple of more laps to the cross flags. Rickard in the middle lane. He's going to battle now Wade. And here comes somebody trying to get something started up top. It's going to be Brian Chu in the 18.
And what a run.
By the way,
Brian
Charles, Brian Chu, no stranger to super speedway racing. I just wanted to throw that out there. He won the NASRA DSR Electric Truck Series event this season at Daytona.
Well, I'm glad he won, but we're going to roll this back here. Did you just say the electric truck?
DSR Electric Truck Series. That's the name of the sponsor. NASRA DSR Electric.
Electric truck. That's words I never thought I'd hear together.
So the sponsor is DSR Electric. It is the
okay.
iRacing Truck Series.
Gotcha.
It's not
Okay,
electric truck.
that makes more sense. Okay.
Wake up!
You know, you say electric and truck, it throws me back to when I found out that they had an electric Mustang, and it's an SUV. So, yeah, I was having, horrible flashbacks for a minute. But yeah, Chu is doing good. And remember, Brian Chu started from the pits, too. He did not roll out on the track, so he's doing really good for himself, sitting in 7th place, as these guys are really starting to duke it out 2 and 3 wide. And Chu, well, he's leading that 3 wide charge.
Halfway. And right now, Scott Rickard in the lead. And Charles, I'm telling you, it's blowing me away. We saw this last night as well. You can be in the middle lane and you can literally hang your own, and you can drive faster than the guys on the bottom or the top lane. Why is that, do you think?
I don't know. The only thing I can think of is, it's just momentum. You have so much momentum that it's hard to overcome.
And I will say this too, obviously, could it be something involving the air, the clean air, the dirty air? You're in the middle of that air.
NASCAR, Coca-Cola Series, or anything like that,
Right,
or
yeah.
the Road to Pro Contender, that does not say, hey, I'm the best. No, there's guys on here that could probably run laps around some of these guys. They just don't have the time to do it. They have full-time jobs that they have to commit to, and they can't commit to being on here practicing.
No, you're right.
6,000 laps a day. So
No, you're right. You're absolutely
I think
right.
leagues are the way to go.
No, you're exactly right. I mean, I just want to throw this out there. Everybody in the top 15 are either A or B class drivers. Bottom line. A-licensed drivers is what I meant to say. Here comes now McNally, the Bass Pro Shops Club Tracker Boats entry. Now in the lead. We'll see what he can do. Here comes now Rickard back to the bottom. Smith behind here on McNally. There's also Bustler. Up on the top, Brian Chu with also Glass. And we're 3 wide again. Boy, here we go. 3 by 3. They're not organized, though. Oh, that was chaotic going into the corner like that. Oh, they held it together, though.
This looks like the majority. There's the rest of the field way back there. I want to point out we have currently 31 cars that started. We have 28 of those that are on the lead lap right now. So the majority of this field is still on the lead lap. You can see right there on the ticker to about 17th place is less than a second behind. Now let's make it 15th. But yeah, there's drivers that are right up here, even though they're not, within, 0.5, 0.4. They're still in contention if a big wreck was to happen because they are on the lead lap.
Watching all this going on again down that back straightaway. 3 wide behind the leader. Down to the bottom, it is Chris Smith. Chris Smith in the 81 Apex Energy entry. We saw what happened to his teammate Thomas earlier on a restart in turn 1 and 2. When he got collected there, Smith and Thomas. But right now, Christopher Smith showing his opportunity to lead on the inside. Rickard right there as well. Oh, and by the way, believe it or not, I can't believe I'm saying this, Charles. If the bracket challenge was to end right now, Andrew Hess would be the champion.
Yeah, that would be an interesting one, considering the fact of how good, everybody was doing early on in this race. So Hess, hey, he's not complaining one bit. He would love to be the bracket champion. So, again, that would be interesting because of the fact that, he's sitting way back in 14th right now, just ahead of McCoy. So we'll keep an eye on that battle. But, man, battles, it's Talladega. There's battles all over the track. And then you got battles that are happening in 15th for, somewhat of a championship, a bracket challenge championship. So, absolutely love the racing and this whole bracket thing. Presented by On the Throttle Podcast. Love it. I just love the way it all works out.
And by the way, right now, Hess and McCoy are 2 spots separated from one another on the racetrack. Kyle McCoy, Brian Lynch, obviously, Zach Kreitz and Andrew Hess, the drivers we're watching as we're closing in on 30 laps to go this time by. When they come to the line, it is Chris Smith in the lead, Rickard on the bottom, McNally up high. The Tire Pro 05, Scott Rickard, what a year he's had. The man out of New York for the Empire State. McNally battles back on the outside lane. Glass, Chew, Bowling right there in tow. Jackson as well. Ogle winner last week. And here they come, piling to make it 3 wide again. Will they do it though, Charles? That's the question. It looks like the bottom in the middle lane is where we're at right now with 30 to go, under 30 to go.
Yeah, I think these guys will attempt the 3 wide. They're already looking to try to, sneak out there if they can, but it's like a game of chicken, if you're being honest, Wesley. Everyone's like, I might peek out there. Are you going with me? No, you're not going with me. I'm not going either. It's like, it's a game of chicken. Will you go? No, you're not going, so I'm not going. Who's going to be that first one to jump out there? And if they do, will anybody go with them?
Tried to go 3 wide, broke apart, was Glass. He thought about breaking under the back end of McNally's car. Chu will follow. Maybe they'll get organized and they'll try it again, but right now they are 2 by 2 by 2. Next week we're going to, of course, Homestead, Miami, round 1 of the playoffs. It will be at the South Beach 200. Homestead, Miami Speedway, North Wilkesboro for the throwback scheme, Old School 200, round 2. California, round 3. Phoenix, Las Vegas to decide the champion. And of course, there is still the Stars and Stripes Indy 500, the Memorial 500. They have still not determined the date for that event, 200 laps, 500 miles. But I know, Charles, if we can get it on LSRTV, we're going to damn sure try.
Yeah, we'll definitely try to get it on here. Obviously, we got to have the date that suits, obviously, with Real Racing taking over now. And, if they do run it on a Thursday, pending I don't have
it
any...
would be better for us. Right, yeah. In my opinion, run it the Thursday, May the 30th, the weekend after the championship, right? I mean, that's what makes sense.
Yeah, if it was me, that's what I'd do. Hopefully they do it, and we're able to cover that one as well. It'd be a nice send-off before I go into semi-retirement. So,
you ain't going into no retirement. You isn't.
Yeah, we've already made it. We're going to semi-retirement at the end of the year, or the seasons, whichever comes first. We're going. We're going to have our Northwest still going 2025. We've committed to some main sim guys in the winter when I'm off, and some big events. We're also going to put on some of our own events too. Some dirt midget racing, dirt racing, stuff like that. We're going to host our own events when we'll have more time to do them. So yeah, it's going to be a semi-retirement. We're going to be around for Northwest and some select events.
Back
I say
across
that.
the line. Close it in on two-thirds of the way through, approaching lap 50.
I guess I would add while we're watching this racing, that's all pending we don't find us a crew. If we can get a handful of announcers that want to come over here and work, and a producer or two, we'll take on the channel. Like, the channel will take on more work. It's just a matter of I won't be around to do a lot of it. So, if we can hire a producer or two that will come over here and work, we will do. We will take on more of these. It just it'll be them producing and not myself.
There you go. 25 laps to go when they come to the line. And now you see McNally. And here it comes again, that outside lane, that middle lane. I don't want to call it the outside lane. It's forming on the racetrack, but it's that middle lane on the track, not that third lane up top near the safer barrier, where honestly, Charles, again, we've just seen the middle lane power. And look at this again, Smith on the bottom. Here comes McNally picking up speed. There he goes to the lead again as they work that 4,000 foot backstretch to 3.
Yeah, look at that inside lane. It has got a herd of cars, just single file. I think these guys know what's happening. They got 24 laps to go at the line. They are biding their time. Nobody's going to press any issues, I don't think, until we have about 5 laps to go, maybe 3 laps to go. Then I think we're going to see some of these guys on that outside lane start forging their way to the very top. You see them little dotted lines? So they're going to go to the top side of them dotted lines, or slashes, whatever you want to call them, and then we are going to see craziness ensue.
How will it all shake up? Smith now, bottom of the racetrack, committed, not going nowhere, stays to the inside. That's exactly where you got to be. McNally up top. Brian Chu will follow. I'm telling you guys, don't count out the interstate batteries, number 18. Charles, that's a guy we know very well from NASRA, and he's won in super speedway racing. He knows how to get through this field.
Yeah, you can never count out somebody you know knows how to get through one of these races. And, everyone says it. I've said it, that it's a crapshoot. It's, all about luck. Yes, there's a lot of luck involved at a super speedway plate track. However, there's a lot of skill involved in it as well. You really got to strategize, fuel, tires. You got to put yourself in the position to avoid the big wrecks. And, you have to put yourself in the position at the right time to be able to make a run for the win.
Coming through the tri-oval. Another lap at the stripe. And look at now, Smith with Glass down below. And somehow below the double yellow line, Charles, he was able to get back on it again. Stays on the gas, will stay green.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to see when they're going to go back to 3 wide. We saw it earlier, and then it kind of fizzled out. I think they honestly know it's just not time to go yet. But it's going to be here soon, as we're coming up on 20 to go. Just 20 laps to go in 2 laps. It is just about, it's not quite there, but it's almost go time. And we still have potentially pit stops coming, too, if they cannot make it.
Cross the stripe. Next time around, closing in on 22 to go as these drivers hold their line. 20 remaining when they come back around. Chris Smith, Dylan Glass, Timmy McNally. By the way, right now it would be Andrew Hess Charles. That would be the Bracket Challenge champion. Kyle McCoy falling back to 15th. He might be playing possum. He might have handling problems. But he's got to go now, but he's got to catch the 54, who's right now in 12th. He's up on the outside of the pink and black car.
Yeah, and look how dysfunctional that inside row is right now with the 05. And then there's a huge gap to the 1 of Will Busser. So not the most formed up lines right now on the inside. There's quite a few gaps in there. So it makes me wonder if that top side is going to make a huge gain on the bottom row, just because they're not bunched up tight, like what is it, a pickle jar lid or something like that?
Tighter than a lid on a pickle jar?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know these Wesleyisms like you do. You've been around Wesley a lot longer than I have. Oh. You have been around Wesley longer than me, right?
I hope so. They have to put me away, right?
Hey, you never know. You may have some out-of-body experience. Anyway, back to racing. We're at 20 to go. Well, let's make it 19 to go now. 19 laps to go. It's 9 laps to what I would consider time you need to put yourself in the right position.
Closing in. Excuse me. Closing in on the finish of this one here. Chris Smith down to the end. Comes now. Rickard and outside lane. Glass will follow. Remember, a few moments ago, Glass went below the double yellow line, got really sideways, got back in order, and boy, they're just playing. Charles, my question is this. Last pit lap on lap 30. Can they go to the finish of the race here?
I'm not exactly, I didn't get to talk to them and see what their fuel mileage is, but I do not think they can make it. I think these guys are going to be short. At least, we know for sure probably Wade is going to be short. And probably the 25. I don't believe he came down either on the last one, but I don't think they can make it. I think they're going to have to come down. But
Yeah.
Time will tell. We got still 18 laps to go. 18 and 28 for your leader. That's putting them at like almost 45 laps. I just don't know if they can make
I'm
that.
thinking that's what I'm thinking, Charles. 5 to 8 laps short. Some of these guys are 5 to 8 laps short. I just don't see them being able to make it to the finish of the race.
And that very well could be why we're not seeing the 3 wide. And these guys are starting to get a little scattered. And they're all down on the bottom. Maybe they are preparing to come down here shortly.
Off of 2. Back down that Alabama gang super stretch. The Alabama gang drivers that marched and etched their name in history from Hueytown. Right now, here they come to the inside, back to the bottom. It is Rickard. Charles, I said it. I really thought Scott Rickard had a strong car. He's showing it, by the way, now, finally. Also, Kyle McCoy gets around Andrew Hess. McCoy is up to 8th spot. There he is. The number 7 car. King back in with 16 to go at Talladega.
Yeah, and this is assuming they have to make one more pit stop. That's going to really change things up because, you want to make sure you come in with a group that'll let you stay ahead of whoever you need to be. If you're McCoy, you want to stay ahead of Hess. If you're Hess, you want to stay ahead of McCoy. So you want to make sure that you come in with enough cars to give you that boost, the momentum, and the speed you need to, not lose the draft. Because if you're one of those guys and you lose the draft, you don't stay with a nice pack of cars, well, you could kiss that bracket championship goodbye.
Fifteen laps to go when they come to the line. Everybody in line, one jumping out of line. The regular season finale here at Talladega. The Stars and Stripes Racing League. And it is getting good in the neighborhood as we close in on 60 laps completed. And that final 15-lap sprint, we're thinking drivers cannot go the distance. And that third here in this at least 7 to 10 laps shy of fuel is what I'm kind of counting. If my numbers on the paper napkin are correct, Charles. Right now, closing in on the start-finish line, and Rickard Glass. Oh, another thing too, Charles, it is getting really cloudy, and now it's starting to get sunny again with sun starting to hover over the racetrack, and they're coming back into light.
Yeah, it keeps going back and forth, and again, it's going to play a factor. It was 101 degrees earlier on the track. It's actually cooled down to 91 degrees on the track. So the track temp not quite as hot, but you can see right there, there's a few clouds, but not horrible now. The sun's come back out. But, the track temp going down should help them just a little bit.
By the way, unofficially, it's looking like NASCAR at Talladega for the Geico 500 might be on a Monday because the weather doesn't look good. Here they come. Look at this. People on the binders coming to pit road. You knew it was going to happen, Charles. Look at this. Wow, it's a scramble.
That is a huge scramble of cars coming down pit road. And, we knew it was coming. I kind of figured the front runners might come first, but they didn't. The back half of the field from about 18th on came down. Leaders, not so much. And this is fuel only. Splash of fuel, 4 to 6 seconds, and you were off pit road. They came in. Your leaders got to come in next.
Yeah, you're thinking they're going to have to, no doubt. I mean, I was thinking with about 10 to 7 laps to go, and here they come.
Oh.
Wow. No, they're not. They're not stopping.
This is going to get interesting when they come down. The only
And
thing
now
I
what you got two big packs now, two big groups now separate around the track.
Yeah, and the only thing I can think of is this group right here is going to try to put a lap or two more and maybe try to catch that other pack and lap them. I don't know, but they're going to try something. I bet you that if they don't come down this time, they have to come in next time. But I bet you they're coming down pit road this time by.
Yeah, it sounds like from communications, they're all getting to the inside of the racetrack. Only Brian Chu and some others are staying on the outside lane, but I'm thinking with everyone else on the bottom, you got to think they're going to be peeling down from 200 plus miles an hour, and here they come. Everybody all coming down pit road. Money stop glass on the binders. Don't get busted for speeding. Charles, I'm actually the first 10 pitted. The other guys didn't.
Yeah, so now we're going to have 3 groups. So, yeah, that's going to make it interesting. We still have 8 cars out on track that have not come down. That's an interesting call, and the 88 misses his pit stall, has to back up. That will surely knock his chances out here unless we get a late race caution.
Rickard's out first. And remember, they got to stay, honestly, Charles, remember this, even though that they are off of pit road exit, they still got to stay to the bottom of the racetrack until they hit the blend line on the back straightaway. If not, they can get busted for a penalty.
Yeah, you do not want to get busted for a penalty this late in the race. As those guys have done, everybody's come down except for this group right here. Your top 8 drivers. Again, that's Schrader, Wizza, Grimm, Medlin, Tatum, Duff, Lynch, and Whitaker. Those guys have not come down, and they didn't show any signs of coming down that last one here with 10 to go. Are they going to try to squeeze this out and make it? Well, that can be a quick question because some of them do have 3 and 4 pit stops already. 3 for Schrader, 4 for Ross Tatum. He did have a little bit of damage from a wreck, so that may have been what that is for, but some of these guys may try to squeeze this out.
Schrader gives up the lead. Tom Wizen out of the top spot. Grimm, Medlin will follow. 10 laps to go here at Talladega. They come thundering down to the line.
Single digits.
Yes.
I mean, if
9
you
to
got
go.
single digits, 9 laps to go, Wesley, you got to stay committed to that. I mean, you're committed to not coming down. These guys, they're either going to be running on fumes or they got some kind of like, Ryan Newman voodoo car going on over there.
That's how they pitted was lap 30. I mean, you think about it. That's 40 some odd laps right now. They're in this run.
I don't think they can make it. I mean, everyone else thought they couldn't. I think they're just holding out for a caution that so far is not coming. They almost have to come down here soon.
And I'll be honest with you, Charles, as they come down to the start-finish line, you've broken this group into 4 packs. So I'm looking on the track map right of me on the broadcast booth, and you've got about 7 or 8 in line going to turn 1 that you're watching right there. Okay, single file, 8 to go. Then you've got the rest of the pack, 9th on back, right there, coming off of turn number 4. So you see the separation between them from Chu, Bustler, and company. They're coming through the trival. There's another little small pack right there. He's dead on it with me. And then you got the other pack working off of turn 4 here, coming to the line through the tri-oval right now from 28th on back. So with that being said, you have separated a majority of the pack as they come off of turn 4 down to the line this time by. 7 laps to go. Do you roll the dice, Charles? Is that what they're doing? Stretching it for as far as they can go unless they run out of fuel.
Unfortunately, whether they wanted to roll the dice or not, their dice are rolled. Their bed's made or unmade, whatever you want to call it. They're laying in what they got now. There's no turning back at this point. You got 7 to go, coming to 6. Whatever you're thinking or hoping was going to happen, you're committed. You're way beyond committed to it at this point.
Tom Wiza, Ross Tatum, Dylan Grimm, William Duff the fourth, all in this category right here. Watching these guys duke it out, 8 of them for the win. 6 laps to go when they come to the line. Oh, and by the way, Ryan Lynch. Correction, my apologies. I'm still thinking about Brian Lynch. Right now, I guess it would be Andrew Hess, Charles. That would be the winner of the championship or the bracket challenge. He's up in the front again.
Yeah, and that was a very interesting move that these guys just did. I thought maybe they were getting into position to come down pit road, but no.
They didn't.
They were just kind of playing a game of, hey, I'll take the lead for a minute. You take second. I'll take third. It's just like a friendly handoff. Like, they just trading spots like they're all buddies out there. So, very interesting turn of events. Like, he just went up, took the lead, came back, and that was that. I mean, it was almost
at one
like...
time, Schrader. Yeah, Charles, at one time, Schrader in the 10 was leading. Now he's back in 8th, and now Ross Tatum is the leader. 5 to go at the line.
And they are definitely not coming down. So my question is, if you get back here to these guys, do they even have enough time with only 5 laps to go to catch that group? Because there they are. And then we'll see if we can see Schrader. No, look at it. You can't even see that front pack. They have checked out from them.
They're gone. 5 laps to go now. And there's that second group we talked about.
So
forming, led by Hess. Hess would be, by the way, the champion of the bracket challenge. If he holds on, he's faster than everyone else. Andrew Hess from the Brewster Baker bracket, by the way. Number 4 seed, Charles.
Yeah. And here's what I'm wanting to see right here. We're watching this front group, and I want to watch when the leader gets to the line, which he's coming up here shortly. We're going to jump over to that second group. So they're coming up right, well, here shortly. Where is it? I know it's here somewhere. They're right at the line right there. So they're catching them. They were almost a straightaway or more, almost 2 turns away. So this pack is catching that front group. As you can tell, you still can't quite see them, but they have gained a little bit of time. The problem is this second group is running 3 wide, and that is not helping them catch that front group at all.
Let's be honest, Charles. Right now, it is almost 9 seconds from that pack to the leaders, as we mentioned. 9 seconds, maybe 8 seconds now, as Kyle Bowling jumps up in front to try to lead the cavalry. And this is starting to scare me right here. These guys right here, 3 by 3 by 3. This could be where the storm could brew. If something happens for a late race caution, it could come from these guys right here. Nonetheless, they hold it together. We're 3 to go as they come storming through the tribal.
Yeah, and that may exactly be what they're waiting on.
And the cloud cover's back too, Charles. 3 to go.
Yeah, cloud cover setting, and I think these guys up here waiting. We're going to keep an eye on this one, but we've really got to watch this as they're now no longer 3 wide. They've settled it down back here. Maybe they realize they need to calm down a little bit and, get single file or at least double file if they want to try to catch. Because it was 10 seconds, and now it's to 7. They have reeled them in a little bit as, really shaking it up at the rear of the field. No caution. We're coming to 2 to go.
That was Glass, by the way. That was the 16 that got pushed out of line as we pick up the leaders again, working through the tri-oval. There's that pack. You see them. They're reeling them in. The interval now is 6 seconds. 6 seconds back between the first 8 to Bustler. To the line. 2 to go. And now we're getting out of the line here in the front. That we're single file. They know it's go time.
Yeah, if I'm this front pack, Wesley, my thinking is I want to go 2 wide. And they're going to catch you. That pack back there is going to catch you before this race is over, I think. I want to get 2 and 3 wide if I can and block every lane possible because that is going to force that other group to check up. They're not going to be able to just go 2 wide and go around you on the outside. They're going to have to check up if you're taking up 2 of the 3 lanes or 3 of 3 lanes. So, yeah, if it's me, as we're coming to take the white flag, it looks like some of us are running out of fuel.
Tatum's out of fuel. He's on pit road. Tatum on pit road out of fuel. White flag in the air. CRN 1 to go. Whitaker 1 to go at Talladega. He leads them. Can he hold on? And there goes the thundering herd behind them. Swallowing you up here, kitty, kitty, meow, meow, meow. Final time off 2.
Yeah, and they're taking my advice. They're going 3 wide. They're going to duke it out. Oh, my goodness. Here comes the whole pack behind them.
Wow.
I don't know if they're going to be able to make it.
Have they got enough time? They thunder down into turn 3. William Duff the 4th now, the leader. Ryan Lynch to 2nd. Ryan Lynch with Whitaker. Whitaker led the white. Now he's back to 3rd. Here comes Grimm on the outside. They're jumping out of line. They're going to beat him to the line. Here comes Duff. Shot from Lynch. Whitaker, nowhere to go. William Duff the 4th wins at Talladega. Only fitting. And they're crashing in the 2nd row behind them.
Oh, jeez.
The 2nd pack is imploded. I told you to watch them.
Hey, race was over, Wesley.
The race was over. Shades of last night. Race was over.
I'm with you. Is it only fitting that the Full Throttle podcast car wins the bracket finale?
And how about this? Andrew Hess, Charles, is going to be the Bracket Challenge champion. How about it for the number 4 seed, the 54? There he is right there. He is your On the Throttle podcast bracket challenge champion. I love it.
What a race. I did not think they could pull that off. I thought we were about to see them catch him, but they didn't. And he's out of fuel. He ain't making it to the start.
He's out of fuel. He ain't. And
Nope.
the 23 of Grimm ain't either. They're out of fuel. Boy, talk about stretching it to the end. They went 44 laps on a green flag run to make it work to win the race. Wow.
If that would have been one more lap, they would have been in trouble.
And amazing that, if it would have been another lap, and if it would have been another lap, that field would have swallowed them up at the line, too. They cut the interval at 2 seconds before the crash there, coming to the checkered flag. Here's the results, by the way, On the Throttle Racing 1 and 2 as well. William Duff and Ryan Lynch. What a run for everybody that always says we never talk to Ryan Lynch, the cookout car. We're finally going to talk to him, Charles. Ryan Lynch finishes 2nd in the race. Josh Whitaker 3rd. Dylan Grimm. Andrew Hess. We will grab a word with the Bracket Challenge champion. It is Andrew Hess. Over, of course, Kyle McCoy and others. Will Bustler 7th. Brian Chu 8th. Tom Ogle 9th. Trey Jackson, Charles, your top 10 at Talladega.
Yeah, then my pick, Brian. No, sorry, I was with Nate Lynch. There's a lot of Lynches here. In the 24, followed by Christopher Smith, Kyle McCoy. Man, just a few spots back he needed. Kyle Bowling, Zach Smith, Nate Lynch. There it is, my pick in 16th. Greg Hammond, Jason Gratton, Zach Kreitz, and Scott Rickard going to round out your top 20, Wesley.
Christopher Wade, 21st. Joshua Robinson will finish 22nd. Mark Schrader, 23rd. Followed by Tom Wizard, 24th. And Timmy McNally, one time leading the race in 25th. Washington Tatum ran out of fuel while leading. He couldn't make the finish. He will go 27th. Dylan Glass, 28th. Mark Fish, 29th, and Brian Burchett will finish in the 30th position, followed by Ellis Thomas. And that's the way it finishes. Real quickly, we had a long run of the cautions. We didn't really talk about it that much. But look at this. 2 cautions of the race, Charles. Only 2 cautions. The big one, it didn't happen until after the checker flag fell. So, as you say, it doesn't count. 6 caution laps in total. And lead changes, 37 here tonight.
Yeah, almost. So
Pretty
actually, 2 cautions. That's exactly how many we had last night. And we didn't have the big one there, too. Obviously, we had 4 technically, but 2 of those were staged, so we don't count those. So,
right.
2 really, really fantastic Talladega races.
Fun one for sure. Don't go nowhere, everybody. We're going to grab the podium and the On the Throttle Bracket Challenge champion, which is the driver of Mr. Andrew Hess. Don't go anywhere. This is the Stars and Stripes Racing League, and this is iRacing on LSRTV. Post-race is next. Welcome back to coverage of the Stars and Stripes Racing League, Talladega. 200 miles in the books and a first-time winner at that. William Duff III, you've done it, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, appreciate it, fellas, man. Just a crazy race, and shout out to my teammate Ryan Lynch, man, pushing me and sticking with me there and making the call to let's just go ahead and top off after that last caution. So I think that had just enough gas to get there. Ran out in 1 and 2, so perfect timing.
Was there ever a strategy of basically saying we're going to push this 40 laps? Like, did you even realize you'd done it? I mean, you really last pitted on lap 31 of the race.
Yeah, we knew we were close. We were just kind of checking the calcs, and it was like, well, if we pit and if it goes green, we'll see what happens, and then just honestly just stay towards the back of the pack and try to save. And there were some times where it's like, oh, I think we're good. And then there were times where, no, I don't think we're going to make it. And so we were just trying to, let it ride. It's the last race. And, one of us to get in here for On the Throttle Racing. So pretty hyped that we ended up getting a little 1-2 here.
Charles.
My question here is kind of related to the race, but I have to know, did y'all go and watch last night's race and just say, hold my root beer because I got to one-top this? We literally had 4 cautions, 2 of them were staged. No big one until after the checkered flag. We literally repeat that here again tonight. 2 cautions. The big one kind of happened after the checkered flag. So I'm curious if y'all went back and watched last night and you were like, hang on, we can do that too, because you put an outstanding race on, and you didn't wad the field up. We're used to low cautions in this league anyway, but we're curious about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just a testament to this league, man. I feel like, we ran Darlington earlier this year, and I don't even think we had 1 or 0 cautions, and so everyone's just real clean, real respectful most of the time. Even some of the wrecks today, like I want to say it was that last one, there was just 2 guys kind of pinned up, and it wasn't like they tried to jerk it left and go back in front of the field. They just kind of stood there. Everyone else gave each other room, so I just think it's a real testament to the league and just how clean and respectful everyone is, and I'm just glad. I was worried that we were going to get a caution at some point, so our strategy, we were going to go from leading the race to having to pit and then starting at the rear, but I think everyone just raced real clean and respectful, so it's pretty awesome when you got a group of guys that can do that.
Man, what's it mean in closing to get your first career win at a place like Talladega Super Speedway. Sure.
Well, it's about the only dang place I can win in Daytona, and I don't know why. It's just I gotta step my game up here. You know, always working my normal job, so I don't have too much time to practice. But yeah, no, it's just awesome teamwork with my man Ryan Lynch here helping me out, and yeah, it just feels good to get a win. I knew, you know, coming in it was going to take a miracle just to get in on points, but it's just fun punching your ticket while winning it and getting your first career win anyway, man. It's freaking awesome feeling.
Well, brother, before we let you go, thank your sponsors. And, man, obviously, big thanks for doing this On the Throttle Podcast Bracket Challenge. This was pretty damn fun. I really enjoyed it. I'm not trying to tell other leagues to mimic what we're doing with the Stars and Stripes League, but I definitely thought that it was really cool the way we handled the basketball March Madness and doing something with a sim league with it, too.
Yeah, big shouts to Nate and Brian for opening that up for us here. Yeah, shout out, obviously, On the Throttle. We had to drop the podcast earlier this year, but if you guys want to follow on Instagram or Twitter at @onthethrottle_, I like making some memes and some funnies for everyone after the race. So if you guys want to go give us a follow there, and obviously shout out to my teammate Lynch, and shout out to my parents watching from the other living room and hooting and hollering once we got the dub. That was pretty damn cool, too. And thank you to you guys in the booth. You always put on a good performance, and always love going back and watching these races the day after. So going to enjoy watching this one back tomorrow.
So even though you're not doing the On the Throttle podcast anymore, you do have all the replays, so archives of shows, though, right? I mean, you can check them out.
Yeah, you can still check them out probably on the basically any outlet you can get to, Apple Music, Spotify, but just mainly been focusing on doing a little NASCAR comedy. So I got some memes up. If anyone wants to go like some of them, give us a follow. We just eclipsed 1,000 followers on Instagram, so we're heading in the right direction there. But yeah, really excited for where it's going to go.
And don't stray far. Again, William Duff the fourth On the Throttle race. And why I say that, his teammate right there with him, Ryan Lynch. Ryan, this has got to be a party at cookout at your place, right? I mean, come on. This is probably one of your best finishes of the year, isn't it?
Yeah, you might be right. It's funny, Billy and I we watched the race together this past weekend and told each other that we were gonna if we had a chance to kind of almost guarantee that one of us could win, we were just gonna stay on each other's bumpers, and kind of cool to have that situation kind of play out there at the end.
You know, it's cool. We got a Lynch in the top three to talk to. For anyone that doesn't know, there's a lot of Lynches in here, so we
a lot of Lynches.
one. I feel bad. I'm sorry. I did pick a different Lynch. We won't mention which one. You have to go watch the broadcast on that one. But either way, you know, you were up there. Knowing how Talladega goes, how many times did your strategy change in this race? Or did it change at all? Did you come in here knowing, nah, we just awesome. We're not going to have cautions, and this is my strategy, and you stuck to it?
No, I think we were. We kind of saw that the caution came. It was 2 laps before what I thought was the earliest I thought 33 would be the earliest we could pit and make it to the end. But kind of saw the opportunity to sneak that extra top off lap in front of the, behind the field, and see that it, maybe if it could be done, we could sit in the back and save enough. I think if the caution would have came out 5 laps sooner or 5 laps after, then we probably would have been with each other, but really aggressive trying to get to the front. I think we kind of saw that we had gotten through the first 2 wrecks without using fast repairs. Now would be the time to maybe take some track position. So it's just the way that the race played out, and got lucky that we kind of caught that we were close to the number.
I'll tell you what, being a teammate with William, was there ever any time that you were going to try to pull out a line or go with him, or was the strategy let's let's do what we're going to do? Basically.
No, I told him I'm not going anywhere. If we get in this situation, if I do that, then someone else is going to win. It just slows you down so much. People were surviving by themselves, just side drafting up the track in the first run, and we would have just destroyed each other's run, and whoever was in 3rd and 4th place would have probably raced it out for the win. There's just no great way to do that, especially with guys coming behind you. I mean, they weren't checking up at the the last 3/4 of a lap at the end of the race. There was no fuel saving going on at the end of that, so you had to have it done before then.
Well, Bud, before we let you go, thank your sponsors, man. Obviously, it's got to be a special moment for sure for On the Throttle Racing, and obviously we'll see how things shake up for the playoffs.
Absolutely, man. Mission accomplished for sure. Shout out to Verizon and On the Throttle. Billy told you, but check them out on Instagram. Some of the stuff they post is absolutely hilarious, and
yeah,
I know he works hard on that stuff. So everyone check it out. And Next Level Racing, Butt Kicker, and just the league overall, and LSRTV. Everyone should subscribe for all these awesome races at Talladega.
There you go, and that's On the Throttle Racing teammate. Both in Fords, the 17 and the 31. William Duff the 4th and Ryan Lynch 1 and 2. Josh Whitaker. I think it's the first time we've ever talked to him in post-race. You're on the podium. You're in 3rd. There were times that you literally were trying to get something started on the outside lane to try to go 3 wide, make the top work. What made you back away? And obviously, you got to be happy with a podium finish here for 3rd tonight.
Yes, it's good to talk to you guys. No, yeah, there at the start, I wanted to let everybody know we were there, and I could be a factor if we needed to be. And then it's just we never could get the top line working. We would get to the lead, and I think I led a couple laps from the top, but we couldn't sustain it. And after 3 or 4 attempts of getting back to the lead, I just decided to drop back and ride, save my fast repair, and then the way the cautions fell, I was able to come back in and top off under that last caution. I thought there might be an outside chance of making it, but I didn't think it would happen, and then it finally did.
I got 2 questions for you. One, how much fuel did you have left? And 2, I think someone's giving you a phone call. I'm not sure if that's a question or not, but they're calling this.
We have post-race obligations first.
Yeah,
okay,
they're calling to congratulate him on the podium. But no, the real question is, we know some people already ran out of fuel, but how much fuel was in that car? And, how much were you saying, okay, don't caution, no caution, no caution, we do not need overtime?
Yeah, definitely didn't want caution. I knew with probably 20 to go that I could make it, that I was going to make it. And then I finally got to the number with, I think, 3 to go, and that is when I was last. I mean, I was the last car in line, and then me and a couple other guys jumped 3 or 4 guys and went to the front. When I did that, I knew that I had enough, and I could kind of let it hang out from there. And I ran out on the backstretch after we crossed the line. But yeah, I knew with probably 20 to go that there was a good chance that we would make it, and I was definitely going to try. I would have ran it dry if I had to, but able to make it. I didn't realize that Billy and Ryan were teammates. I was going to push Ryan to the win. I figured I was kind of boxed in, but I was going to push Ryan, so I guess they were going to win regardless. But yeah, it's just good to finish up at the front. Had some ups and downs. This is my first season in this league, and I kind of just wanted to get through it without ruffling any feathers, and so far I've been able to do that, so it's good to finish up front.
Well, Bud, now the run of the playoffs begins. What's your take of being in the hunt? Obviously, you're in the top 20 in the point standings. Do you race differently when you know you got other drivers running for a championship, kind of like what we saw in the bracket challenge?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna do anything to screw anybody else up on purpose. I mean, I'm not just gonna lay over. The rest of us have a playoff as well, I believe. So I'm still gonna give everything I got, but I'm not gonna put the playoff guys in a bad situation. It's a delicate balance because you don't want to screw yourself, but you don't want to. You don't want to screw everybody else that's racing for a championship. So we'll just kind of take it race by race and situation by situation.
All right, buddy. Before I let you go, thank your sponsors.
Yeah, it was good to get the old Emico car in the win there a little bit, and shout out to you guys, and shout out to Nate and Brian for running this league, and Billy for the bracket challenge. It was a lot of fun following along with it.
Well, there you go, Josh Whitaker, the 28 Chevrolet. He'll finish in the number 3 position. And before we do go, Let's bring in the Spike Racing number 54, Andrew Hess. He was at the number 4 spot into the On the Throttle podcast bracket challenge. He was teetering back and forth with the battle between him and McCoy. McCoy fell back. Andrew Hess capitalized. Andrew Hess, you are the bracket challenge champion. And I love the fact that it's the bottom seed, man. You're number 4 in the bracket. Congratulations to you.
Well, thanks, guys. It was tough getting through the bracket the way it was. I know the season hasn't gone the way I wanted, and it probably aided because I don't think I probably should have been a low of seed as I was, but my season's been so bad that it kind of helped me out in that regard and kind of set me up pretty nice.
Wow. You know, when you come in and you're 4th seed and you got, lower seeds, does it just put a little smile on your face knowing you pulled the upset and you beat them?
A little bit. I mean, I'd say it's more the way the season's been so crappy, to be frank about it. It seems like I've been a wreck every race, even let's say 99% of it have not been my fault, just wrong place, wrong time. And heck, even during this race, the first wreck that didn't bring out a caution, it was Brian and one of the lap cars or something. They came off the turn there and got wrong place, wrong time, and had to use my fast repair, and I didn't think I'd even make the rest of the race after that because I just assumed it'd be a wreck or something, and I would find it just the way the season's kind of gone. So if anything, it just kind of it makes the season more successful with this win.
Andrew, what was it like racing in a bracket with all of these different drivers amongst yourself, and then also knowing that you had to race the regular schedule? Was there? Did you not think about it until you get to the end of the rainbow? What was it like for the last month doing it?
Yeah, I mean, I'd look at it, and then I would just kind of try to survive the race as much as I could. And I had a little luck because I think one of the weeks I ended up having to miss due to work, and put me down in the bottom of the bottom. And then I somehow walked my way out of that one by probably the hair on my chin, and right place, right time, and finally had a little luck turn my way.
Well, Bud, obviously, before I let you go, thank your sponsors and congratulations to you being the bracket On the Throttle podcast bracket challenge champion this year.
I'll definitely got to start with those guys at On the Throttle podcast for sponsoring this and everything, and Billy with his big win tonight. I mean, that's a good way to send it out. Can't imagine anything better. And you guys at LSRTV doing a great job in promoting the league, and hopefully we put on a good show for you guys week in, week out.
Was a good one, a fun one. And Andrew Hess On the Throttle podcast bracket challenge champion when it is all said and done. Well, Charles, we've reached the end of the rainbow. Talladega, always fun. Now we move into Homestead, Miami. The run to the championship begins with the playoffs. Now, your final take of tonight.
Definitely looking forward to the playoffs. And, well, they've already posted them, so I'll give you a quick rundown. We won't stay on too long. Your top 12 in the playoffs are going to be Scott Rickard, Kyle McCoy, Thomas Ogle, Josh Robinson, Will Bussler, Ross Tatum, even though he didn't have the night he wanted, Christopher Smith, Kyle Bowling, Zach Kreitz, Timmy McNally, Dylan Hoffman, and Jason Gratton are the top 12 in the point standings going into playoffs.
There you go. So, obviously, with those drivers having wins, there are now 8 different winners on the year, adding also tonight's winner, of course, William Duff IV. And with that win, it puts him in the playoffs as well. The run will begin for these drivers beginning next Thursday night at Homestead, Miami, and the South Beach 200. The Stars and Stripes Racing League is proudly presented by these fine sponsors. Thank you to Butt Kicker, the Butt Kicker 200 at Talladega. Also appreciate Next Level Racing. Thank you to On the Throttle podcast. Congratulations to Andrew Hess, the Bracket Challenge champion. as well as find their podcasts on major platforms, outlets, and Verizon, the nation's #1 5G network. Appreciate them as well. So William Duff the fourth, first career win for him. Andrew Hess, the bracket challenge champion. It is on to the playoffs. The calm before the storm. You could hear a pin drop when my voice settles down. And ladies and gentlemen, we will see what happens next week at Homestead, Miami. For Jeff Stabnow, Charles Wooten, everybody at Rocket Media and iRacing on LSRTV, for everybody at the Stars and Stripes Racing League, this is Wesley Outland. Congratulations to William Duff. Congratulations to Andrew Hess. And the playoffs begin next week.